The word get is a verb. The dictionary defines it as receiving or having possession, use, or enjoyment of, coming to a specified place, arriving, reaching, and lastly, to succeed, to become enabled, or to be permitted. So with all that said, did you get it? Good. Welcome to Get the Podcast.
You better get it while the getting's good. It won't be long until I'm gone in all likelihood. Misinformed is an excuse, be the engine that could. I know my roots, I know my rights, and still misunderstood. I'm getting to it.
Hey, what's up, people? It's your friendly neighborhood Negro, JC. And Get the Pod is a micro pod where I give my 2 cents, a couple quarters, and a few dollars on some hot button issues in not only the Black community, but the overall global community. All of the episodes will be under 20 minutes with the goal of, hopefully, getting you to the point of fruitful and meaningful conversations with those in your immediate friend groups and circles. So, you got it now?
Yep.
You get it yet?
Think so.
Good. Let's go. What up, neighbors? What's going on? It's popping. Been a little bit, but I'm back with the jump off. And this one is going to be, this episode to Get the Pod is going to be on respectability politics, the usefulness, the effectiveness, or lack thereof. So if you aren't familiar with respectability politics, it's basically by where it's a set of social practices and norms, mainly adopted by people that aren't white, to essentially make us more acceptable and or digestible to those that are. I can't really speak to how this functions in any other culture outside of Blackness, so we'll speak on my particular experience with it. But if you guys are listening and you got more experiences, you want to give examples, please by all means chime in, leave a comment, please. But the respectability politics thing is interesting because it's one of those things where it's like, think of respectability politics like Bill Cosby in the 90s, right? Before he got, outed for raping people. He was always, essentially like doing this shaming of the Black man. Like, how dare you listen to rap music and sag your pants? And why aren't you going to school to get an education? All this other stuff. That is essentially like respectability politics. In another sense, it's doing things to comfort the whites or to fit in with the whites in the dominant culture, quote unquote. And so, of course, with the recent rise of, hate against Black women for wearing bonnets outside. It's just funny because, if we look at the history, which by the way, I've done a bonnet basics on the history of bonnets. But if we look at the history, like Black women were required by law in portions of this country to cover their hair. And so then when Black women do it, now we're upset because it's like, and it's just one of those things because it's like, you get to see how like patriarchy and misogynoir and like racism all come into play because no one really says anything about guys in do-rags or guys in skull caps per se. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody is like, oh, they just need to go with a do-rag. He need to get a shape up before he leave the house. Like, nobody says that to men. And it's always like, when we think about this particular iteration or just iterations in general, most of these things, when it comes to aesthetics, tend to bend towards women because we, as a society, as a world, look at women as more of a function than, more fashion than function. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we look at them as more ornamental than instrumental. We look at them as more, I'm going to go see if I can go for a third one. We look at them as more of a, I ain't got no third one, y'all. But yeah, we look at them as ornamental rather than instrumental, right? And so it's like, how dare this woman leave her house and go into the world and not look her quote unquote best, right? How dare she not be presentable to the masses, to not only the Blacks, but the whites. Girl, you realize the whites are looking at you and your body. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just this thing because don't nobody say this shit to men. Don't nobody get no fuck. Like, Nobody get no fuck. I can walk out the house right now in a do-rag that match my outfit. And niggas ain't gonna be like, oh, why you got a do-rag? You know what I'm saying? If a chick go outside and she got a bonnet on that match her outfit, or she has a head wrap, then, you know, it's like, oh, why is this? You know, or there's of course, because, you know, in Black society, in Black culture, there are levels to the head wrapping game, right? Because you could have a bonnet and it be looked at as not good. But if you have like a specific a scarf and you wrap it a certain way, then that's fine. But essentially, they're both doing the same thing, which is the protection of the hair. One is just more fashion than function, but it's essentially the same thing. And again, nobody says this to men. All right. And it's all very funny to me because the folly in respectability politics is back in the 50s, it might have worked. You know what I'm saying? Like dressing up in suits and shit. Like maybe it did work a little bit. You know, I don't know who's to say that maybe, you know, MLK or Malcolm X, they might not have been received the same if they weren't in the suit. You know what I'm saying? And it does speak to, you know, when you dress good, you feel good. Right. But I think it's more along the lines of this generation, the younger generation, millennials, zillennials, and whoever the fuck else is coming after zillennials, because these fucking names are getting ridiculous right now. What the fuck is a zillennial? It sounds like a fucking chip or a Taki. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want some millennial Takis? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just, I don't know. But anyway, these kids, especially these Black kids, and these brown kids have figured this shit out. Yo, America literally hates us anyway. These old white people quite literally hate us anyway. So what is the difference if you come out here in a 3-piece suit or a fucking do-rag? The police will still literally kill you in the fucking streets in front of your family, friends, and children. Right? Bonnet or a ball gown, do-rag, or a 3-piece suit, you can and will get it, right? The state, and I say state as the overarching word for the government, will get you bodied regardless, right? So if I'm going to have to leave my house and deal with all of this persecution, maybe sometimes even in my fucking house, because Tatiana Jefferson got murdered for fucking being in her house with her nephew playing her fucking video game, right? So if I'm going to have to deal with all of this fucking persecution, bitch, I might as well be comfortable. And who could argue with that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand the old guard and the way that the old guard thinks you're supposed to look your best and be presentable all the time. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. What about comfortability? All of this shit ain't comfortable all the time. And again, if I'm going to be possibly murdered by the police, at least let me be comfortable while I'm doing it. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, and it's literally one of those things where it's like, what is respectability politics in 2021? Right? What is respectability politics after the Panasonic? Seriously. Like, what is that? This Pan's labyrinth that we've been living in, what is that? And we're still going through it. Like, you understand what I'm saying? What does respectability politics really mean after this pandemic, right? What is the usefulness of respectability politics after there was a literal global uprising at the murder and injustice given to Black people with specificity on America, right? What the fuck does any of this mean? And if it doesn't mean anything, I dare you to ask, well, then why the fuck are we doing it? Again, like I said in a previous episode of Bonnet Basics on the history of bonnets, bonnet or a ball gown, do-rag or a 3-piece suit, right? Police will literally kill you anyway. America will literally stomp you into the ground every chance it gets if you are not a heterosexual, wealthy white man. So what the fuck do it matter if Tamika leave her house in a bonnet, a ball gown, or a motherfucking head wrap? Somebody help me understand. Please. And then at the end of the day, old people, y'all just could mind your fucking business. I was just saying, like, everybody could just mind their business. What did that 106-year-old lady say on Instagram? The secret to her staying young and living long is drinking water and minding her fucking business. All right? From the mouth of the elders, preached right on down to you. All right? That's a woman that done lived through many a bullshit. And what she say? She lived her best life by minding her damn business and drinking water. I suggest y'all do the goddamn same. I'm out. Peace. Get the podcast is a production from the OVT Network with original artwork by Kenzo Sturdivant and original music by Sincerely Blit. The podcast is hosted and edited by me, your friendly neighborhood Negro, JC. If you found value in anything I've said here today, please subscribe, like, share, and comment on YouTube or Instagram at the OVT Network. You can also connect with me, JC, on IG at JC from the OVT. Gotta keep it simple, right? Don't forget to rate us 5 stars and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever your podcasts are casted. And lastly, did you know that if you share this podcast with just one person, we would double in size the community? So, with that being said, get to sharing, goddammit. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you listening. Peace.